Hello and welcome to the Full-Time Whittle podcast, bringing you all the latest news after the full-time whistle blows. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by former Wigan Athletic and current Charlton defender Jason Pearce. He'll be previewing Saturday's game between the two sides at the Valley. So without further ado, here is a Full-Time Whittle podcast with Jason Pearce. So first and foremost, Jason, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, just recovering from a bit of an injury, but yeah, raring to get back in training and playing some games.
Absolutely. And Jason, you joined Wigan Athletic back in 2015, made 47 appearances for the club, scoring twice before moving to Charlton in 2016. You're approaching four and a half years now with the Addicks. How can you review your time at Charlton so far?
Yeah, it's been up and down, really. I'd say there's been a lot of changes at the club behind the scenes, but we've had a bit of success getting promoted. Then obviously a relegation, so it's been very up and down. But I've enjoyed my time here, and I love it at the club.
Obviously, another change which has been more recent has been the change of ownership with Thomas Sandgaard taking over. How delighted were you to hear the news? Obviously, over the summer there was a lot of speculation, a lot of concern.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think obviously as players, you just want that a bit of stability. Want to know that you're going to get paid, and then you can just focus on the job in hand in training and playing games. So there was a lot of uncertainty around the club before he come in. So yeah, once when he came in and said his plans for the club and the future, then it's a real relief for us as players, and I think for the club and the fans.
Absolutely, and everyone's delighted from the outside football world to hear the news. What do you make of your start to the League One campaign so far?
Yeah, I haven't been involved playing, but it's been a frustrating start for us. But we obviously we've had a lot against us with the transfer embargo and things going on like that. But now I think Bo's really assembled like a decent squad now. So I'm hoping from now on in we can start getting some positive results and then moving up that league.
You recruited really well in the transfer window. Ben Watson, Alex Gilby, Connor Washington, Omar Bogle, Marcus Madison, some really great signings for this level, and some that'll be really familiar to Latics fans. You can even make a Latics six-a-side team if you wanted to, maybe five-a-side. And how do you think you'll fare this season? What are your aims and objectives?
Yeah, like you say, there's some real quality signings there, which at first I didn't know we'd be able to get signings like that at the start when we had the embargo, but we managed to get past that, get the new ownership, and then get them players in. So it's now about them. It's now about them bedding in and being part of the squad, and hopefully they can bed in quickly and we can get off to a good start. So yeah, no, I think the objective this season, obviously, to try and get into the top six or promotion. We want to get straight back up into the championship.
There's a lot of extremely talented players on that list, and one player that always catches my eye is Marcus Madison. From his time at Peterborough United, I've always admired him from afar. It seemed like every week he was scoring a goal or setting his teammates up, and he's a great player for this level. And another player who won't need an introduction, who's another great player for this level, is Ben Watson. Ben obviously scored the most important goals in Wigan history in the 1-0 win in the FA Cup final against Man City in 2013. And it's easy to forget that last season Ben was playing for Notts Forest every week in a side that only just missed out on the playoffs at the final hurdle. So Charlton have got the real makings of a squad which I expect to chance for promotion this year. But to focus on this fixture at the weekend at the Valley, how do you preview Saturday's game against Wigan Athletic, and what are you expecting from the Latics?
Obviously, Wigan have been for a similar sort of time to us in terms of the turnover of players. They got obviously a lot of new players coming in. Wigan's obviously a club that I keep quite close to me because I was there and had a great time there, and the fans were great. But so no, I think it's going to be it'll be a tough game for both teams. So I'm expecting quite a good game to watch. Obviously, I'm a Charlton player, so I have to want Charlton to win. But it'll be, but yeah, no, I think it'll be a tight game. It's how quickly the new players gel and bed into the team, and the manager gets his points across, and then we go from there. But I think it's when you get a lot of new players in the team, it sometimes can take time for the players to gel and get to know each other and how they play their game. So it's whoever gels quicker, and we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when it comes to football, it does take quite a while to form those relationships, understandings on the field. We're going to have quite a big turnover this summer. I think over 20 players have left due to the administration. Obviously, the administration has been a huge talking point at Wigan Athletic. What was your first thoughts when you saw the news back in July?
Yeah, obviously I was disappointed for the club because I know it's such a really well. It was a well run club when I was there. A really family feel club, and yeah, it's just tough to see that. You don't want that happening to any club, but a club that I've been at, yeah, it was difficult to see, and I didn't really, if I'm honest, I didn't understand how that could really happen when they'd obviously only the people that taken over and been in charge for long, and then for that to happen, just doesn't seem right. So something needs to be done in the Football League, in my opinion, in regards to this, and the same with Charlton when we got taken over. Supposedly didn't have any money or whatever it was. So it's not nice to see it happen to these clubs. So hopefully, yeah, we'll sort itself out.
What do you think the EFL can do to prevent this happening and protect other clubs?
Well, for one thing, the people taking over have to prove the fact they got the funds to take over the club and make it sustainable. At the end of the day, people are taking over and not having to show proof of funds, and they're able to take control of the club, which is ridiculous. So, yeah, I think the main thing is obviously they got to show proof of funds and then show they're able to actually take control of a club. It's obviously a big organisation, big football clubs that they need to obviously control and move forward.
As a player who's had his foot in both camps at Wigan Athletic and Charlton, throughout the summer, both Wigan Athletic and Charlton fans on social media have shown a lot of solidarity during these really tough and unforeseen times and been constantly supporting each other with the takeovers. It must be really nice for you to see that when you're reading social media.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's the same for players, not just fans, for the players as well. No, none of us as players want to see the clubs going out of existence or clubs going into administration. I've been quite unlucky in my career. I've been in admin 3 times, so it's not often you go through admin as a player, but to go through it 3 times is tough. So I know what it feels like, and I've been part of that. So it is a tough time for any club, and the players are secured in their contracts, but seeing staff having to take redundancies or take wage cuts, it's difficult. These people, it's their lives. They support the clubs. A lot of the people that work at clubs. So yeah, it's difficult to see. And as players, we support it, and obviously fans support each other as well. It's
Yeah, I
nice to
think
see.
absolutely. I think it's been really great as a football community almost to come together in a really difficult time. It's already the pandemic, which has been really difficult for everyone. And are you hoping now that both Wigan and Charlton's long-term future has been secured?
For sure, yeah. I think definitely for both clubs, whether I was at Wigan or not, or as a player for Charlton or not, I think it's really important to see like the clubs sustain. And they're big clubs at the end of the day. Obviously, but it's the worst things happen to Bury, and no one wants to see that. So yeah, no, of course.
You was at Wigan for a year between 2015 and 2016, and you helped Wigan win the League One title. It was a great year, a great season. How do you look back on that when reflecting?
No, we had a great team. For the level, we had a really top team, and I loved my time at Wigan. At the time, to be honest, I didn't really want to leave. I wanted to stay, and I saw my future there. But circumstances at the time, the manager didn't see me as part of his plans, and in football, that's life, and you have to move on. And I wasn't the sort of person to sit on the bench or sit in the 23s and rot away. I wanted to play football, so I left for the right reasons. And yeah, but no, in terms of getting promoted, we had a great team spirit there. I still keep in contact with a few of the players, so yeah, it was a good time, special time.
It was something that Wigan fans will never forget, and it was a really great experience. To go back to more recent times now with the game on Saturday, in terms of Charlton players, can you give a bit of an inside look in terms of the players to look out for? Who do you think poses quite a bit of a danger?
I just think, obviously, I don't know who's going to play in terms of team selection, but there's a lot of good players. We brought a lot of players in. I think I'm excited to see how Omar Bogle does. People know obviously Gilby's injured, myself's injured, but yeah, no, for sure. I think I'd like to see Omar Bogle, see how he does. Obviously, Marcus Maddison's a top player at this level and can provide goals, score goals. So no, we got some good players. So hopefully they can hit the ground running. But we shall see on Saturday.
Absolutely. I'm not going to ask for a score prediction because we never know how these football games are going to go. But I'd like to thank you so much for your time tonight. I do really appreciate it. And away from the football itself, you've actually set up your own academy as well recently. So can you maybe discuss about your academy a little bit more? Because I don't think a lot of people have heard about it.
It's always something I've wanted to do since I started playing to give something back to the community really, and help the next generations coming up. So my thought process in terms of what I want to bring for the kids is my experience when I was younger. Was I played at academy, and I didn't, when I went into academy, I didn't enjoy it, and I went back playing for my local team and loved it. So I want to sort of give that sort of fun feel at my academy. But obviously with the coaches I've got there, UEFA licensed coaches, they're going to improve, but having fun, I think that's so important. I think confidence is such a big thing in football, which sometimes gets overlooked. So I just want to do that and help the kids come through. And if they're good enough, it's a tough world out there in football. It's very ruthless. So if they're good enough, then they'll make it. But in a nice, fun, warm environment.
It sounds really great. And obviously, you're a vast experienced player. You play for some top clubs: Bournemouth, Portsmouth, Wigan, Leeds United, Charlton. So many great clubs in that list, so many big clubs. And you've been a captain throughout your career as well. So how do you think your leadership qualities will help with your younger students?
Yeah, I think it's different with different ages. You have to treat them differently. But I think my experience, I hope I can pass on what I've learned throughout my career to the younger ones coming through. I won't be as hard on them as if they were in like a first team environment, because it's not as important. I've said to a lot of the parents, that I don't want it to be about them coming to the academy and they'll definitely get into a club at the end of it. I want it to be about them having fun, building as a person, becoming a good person, and then they're learning how to play football and the aspects of football on the way. But hopefully my experience can help with that.
I think they've got a great coach moving forward. And is there a place where you can find the academy for anyone watching who'd like to read up about it and maybe get involved?
Yeah, the website's just been done, so that's www.jp6academy.co.uk. So if anyone wants to have a look at that.
Thank you so much for your time tonight, Jason. You've been a great guest. It's been really, really nice to hear from you. I know Wigan fans loved you during your time at the club. You used to be never afraid to put a foot in, 100% effort every game, and that's what a top centre half is, in my opinion. Not afraid to put the foot in, no nonsense, and I think you was exactly that. And I wish you all the best in your recovery as well. We'll hopefully see you back on the field in the near future.
Thanks a lot, Jay. Thanks for your time. No problem.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Full Time Whittle podcast with Jason Pearce, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.